Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, everyone. Welcome to today's ePMP Force 400 webinar. Today we have Bruce Collins, Director of Product Management, and Sakid Ahmed, General Manager of ePMP and CN Vision Business at Cambium Networks with us today. So if you're ready, I'll pass it over to you, Bruce.
Great, thanks Riley, and thanks everybody for joining today. We have an exciting new product to talk about. The team's been working hard on this for quite some time, and we're excited to tell you about it. We're also very interested in what questions you might have about it. So please, you'll see a question bar down in the webinar interface. Please post any questions you have there. We also have, so as Riley mentioned, I'm the product manager for the product. Sakid, many of you may know, but Sakid also runs the entire ePMP business from technical and business side. And then we also have, he may not want me to say this, but we also have Dimitri on the line, who is the head of software development and sort of the key lead architect for ePMP. So certainly you can bring any questions you like. And while we're focused on Force 400 today, we want to keep it somewhat sort of interactive and casual. If you have questions about other stuff, we're happy to jump in and answer those as well. Presentation itself, it's not too long, so we have plenty of time for those questions, and it will be recorded and posted up on the community, so you can always follow up on these questions or lines of discussion over on the community. The way we want to introduce this product is that I want to let some of the customers speak for themselves here. We've had an extensive beta program with the Force 425. You can see here, I don't know if Josh is on the line or not today, but Josh is one of our beta customers. This is a quote of his that we also used in the press release. It is a, I'm not going to read through it. You all can see it on there, but as we go through the presentation, we'll talk about the technology and the specs and everything in the product, but I think it's important to note how much testing and experience we've been able to get with this over the last few months as the beta has been ongoing. So we'll weave in here a number of quotes, and then we'll have sort of a deep dive in some of the field results, so you'll be able to see what the real world performance of this radio is based on those trials, really in all different parts of the world. So let's get to the product. Right away, I'm going to throw it right out on the table here. It's a Force 425. You can see a picture of it. There's a Force 400C. This is our gigabit per second point-to-point solution. So you can deliver up to gigabit per second capacity in a point-to-point topology. Really, what we see the applications for this are is a broadband service provider or a WISP. You can do backhaul with it. You can serve enterprise customers if you want to deliver those really high hundreds of megabits per second all the way up to a gigabit per second to your business customers. And then also we see it as a nice extension for fiber networks. So you can drop this at the end of a fiber network and extend those customers that you're feeding with fiber. It is we have both the integrated option you can see there with the dish, 25 dBi dish, and then the connectorized one that you can fit that with the RF Elements twist port if you want to put a horn antenna on there, or if it's a couple of cables, you can put a dish antenna on there. So really a couple of nice options for how you deploy this. It runs in, for those of you familiar with the ePMP platform, it runs in this what we call the ePTP mode. So it's low latency, less than 5 milliseconds latency. And it does give you a nice broad set of spectrum covering from 4.9 up to 6.135. So you get a nice boost for those parts of the world that can take advantage of the extra spectrum. You can take advantage of that extra spectrum and more channels. IP67, and we'll talk a bit more about this, but it does have an SFP port that you can put a fiber interface on it, and we're looking at some other options on how we might be able to leverage that SFP port in some different applications. So that's a quick overview. I kind of buried the lead. This is our first 802.11ax based product. So the most important thing about this is that it is everything that you are well experienced in and aware of with ePMP if you're on an ePMP customer. If you're new to Cambium or new to ePMP, this will give you confidence. This is the 4th generation of ePMP platforms, and it's leveraging the very latest technology, which is the 802.11ax standard. That is the very quick overview of what the Force 425 and 400C is. So please, if you have questions, start populating that window. We're looking to see what you want to hear more about on this. While you ponder and think about what questions you want to ask, there's another quote here. This is a customer of ours in a friend of Cambium's in Croatia, from ProPing Telecom, and he also was his team was also a beta customer, and you can see his quote here as well. Really enjoying the high spectral efficiency and the capacity that this product gives. Sakid, was there any questions that came in that?
Yeah, there was a question. I'm responding to it on the chat. Just a clarification about up and down throughput. But stand by as Bruce goes through the slides. We'll talk a little bit about the performance and field data, so you'll get an idea on the actual throughput.
Okay. Yeah, I think just if there's questions that you think will be more useful for the general audience, we should mention them here. Okay. So let's drill a little bit deeper into the technology. This is, as I mentioned, 802.11ax. So if you think about the evolution of ePMP, we started with the 11n standard, which was gave you some, maybe 200 megabits per second. You can think in terms of. We moved to 11 AC Wave 2, which added additional channel bandwidths, added some higher modulations, 256 QAM, and then the latest generation here, which is ultimately the 4th generation of ePMP, is where we introduce 802.11ax, and that adds a number of new capabilities. Ultimately, this is a 60% increase over the 11AC, the previous generation. It is this particular product is 2x2 MIMO. It does 20, 40, and 80 megahertz channels. And one of the big key benefits of 11ax, in addition to that headline capacity of a gigabit per second, you get that spectral efficiency regardless of the channel size you use. So you get that 12.5 bits per second per hertz. And that really comes from a combination of a new modulation level, so 1024 QAM. And it also has some new coding rates. 11ax brings some things like short guard interval, some longer symbols, some features like frame aggregation, and all of those things lead up to a very efficient use of the air interface that we can take advantage of with our ePTP mode and our ePMP platform. The software itself is the same as what you would expect to see if you had opened up a Force 325. If you open the GUI on a Force 425, it will be very familiar. Really, effectively the only difference you'll see is the new mod modes in the various reports as you look at the different speeds and performance on the radio. We've done a lot of work with the new processor in this device, so it will do up to 200,000 packets per second, and we continue to fine tune that. That will help with. Just all of a sudden got a little bit of feedback. Oh, there it's gone. So we're seeing some really good, for those of you that use sort of third-party testers like an RFC 2544 test suite, we're seeing some good performance with that. And you'll see in a lot of the field testing that's been done using some of the speed test that's within the MikroTik routers. You'll see that, so you can kind of replicate the performance that you'll see here in your own setup as well. The Force 425 has a 25 dBi dish, so you can see that in the picture here. We have not launched it yet, but we're evaluating and looking to launch what we call an optional range extender. And what that will do is it's a field installable option. I've got a picture of it in a later slide. Actually, it's hiding behind my interface here. You can see it on the right. That is a field installable ring that you can apply to the Force 425 and adds an additional 3 dB of gain. And you put one at each end, you can add a 6 dB of link budget to your point-to-point link. So it's a nice thing to have in your back pocket as you're going out to install this, and you say, "Oh, there's I need a little more boost in performance or some issue with the alignment." You can get a little bit of additional boost on the link budget with the range extender. I mentioned before that the 400C, which is the connectorized version, can interface with the twist port, and you can see things like the power. As I mentioned, while the software is the same in this platform as well, at least from what the user can see, the platform or product around the ePMP is the same as well. So we have a 3-year hardware warranty. You can certainly get support from your channel partner. And then, of course, you can come to Cambium support, both formally through our support programs, as well as on our community, where you can get support from your peers and other people who are using the product. Anything you want to add, Skeet or Dimitri, at this point?
Yeah, let me touch on a few other things, high level, right? So first and foremost, Bruce, you mentioned that this is our first AX product, right? So that's the one thing. So while we should all be excited that we're able to create a proprietary solution with AX, I do want to highlight that there's quite a bit of Cambium secret sauce in this product, as you've seen. So from an interference mitigation perspective, there are some under the hood techniques that we're leveraging from our previous product line. So you'll see some good interference rejection. Some have commented about comparing spectrum analyzer reports between this product and previous products. Just keep in mind that at the end of the day, it's a different piece of hardware. So whether it's the dish or whether it's the fact that the radio is sitting behind in a complete metal enclosure, all of that helps with things like front to back and side lobe rejection and things like that. So it's not a fair comparison to a previous generation product. But fundamentally, Bruce will show the hardware stuff, but the AX part definitely gives us the higher modulations and some increased efficiency in how much data we're sending. But the interference mitigation stuff and the reliability and the software comes from the Cambium side. So really, this continues that evolution on leveraging 802.11 and creating new products. The other thing I do want to highlight is that while we have a gain enhancer and the integrated dish, Bruce mentioned the twist port antenna. We're seeing quite a bit of adoption on that. We've always welcomed ecosystem partners, so it's not just about RF elements, but third-party antennas you can use with connectorized cables and just attach it. And I'm sure there will be other partners popping up in the space to create adapters for larger dishes. Because at the end of the day, if you can increase your gain, your chances of getting that 1024 QAM increases. There's one other point I want to make that's important, is that as these radios start supporting higher modulations, what that means is the previous levels of modulations, i.e. 256 QAM, 64 QAM, the requirement of C2I, carrier to interference ratio, or SNR as we commonly call it, that also changes. It gets better. So if you think a 64 QAM needed 36 dBm of C2I, you may get away with it with 30. We don't really go out and publish some of these numbers out there because it does vary a little bit within a dB or so. But all in all modulations get an uplift on the 425 product line. So Bruce, back to you. Just wanted to add that context.
All right, great. Thanks, Sakid. Make sure I'm still off mute there. So what we'll do now is I want to take you through a little bit of the mechanics on the Force 425. Oh, first we have a poll, surprise pop-up poll. So hey Riley, can you pop up that first poll? We kind of want to get some feedback from you all as you've seen the initial specs and things on the product. Kind of want to see what you're most interested in. So the poll is, which feature would you want to check out if you had a chance to try out a pair of these radios? So we'll give it another minute or so to vote on those topics. also been joined by Joe Steffen, who's our lead hardware engineer on the ePMP platform as well. So we got we have the whole the A team on here with Dimitri and Joe.
Yeah,
And
Joe's really looking for compliments, right, Bruce, on the hardware. So feel free. Or criticisms. If you don't like the U-bolt, Joe's the guy to talk to.
Okay, let's see. Let's give it another 10, 9, 8, 7, 6. Last chance to get your vote in. A few more people coming in with the votes. Okay, Riley, why don't you pop up the results there? I don't know if the attendees are able to see that at this point. I can't see it because I'm presenting.
No, I can't see the poll results either.
Okay.
Oh, there you go. It just popped up.
Oh, okay. So you can see there what we have a good cross section of people from all different regions, and not too surprisingly, the winner here is people want to see, just give me the speed. They want to see that high level or that high speed performance. Of course, the efficiency on the air interface will help even if you're using smaller channel sizes. And then, interestingly enough, quite a few people are interested in the SFP interface for fiber applications in the range extender. So, pretty good combination of those cross section. I like to see that.
Yeah, this is great. Just wanted to add one more comment about the SFP, right? And this is applicable to the rest of the world, maybe a bit more. Elaborating on that, we talk about GPON, and the idea is that Cambium will recommend some GPON modules that essentially prevents, or you don't have to have a media converter to go from GPON to Ethernet. So it's a module that you plug into the back of the 425, and you can just terminate your fiber right there. So I just want to highlight that we are planning to introduce that or recommend that as a GPON termination device.
Okay, Riley, can you go ahead and hide those results then? And let's continue on. So I wanted to highlight some of the key enhancements for the installation and deployment of this product. You can see on the left here how the mounting works, and I'll show you here a video here shortly that you'll be able to see exactly how that works. We've done a couple things. One is you'll be happy to know you can mount this left or right. There was a lot of feedback on that, so we got that going for us on this one. You can see that we've also introducing spares options. So you can buy a spare mounting kit if you lose some of the parts, or if that dish gets damaged, you can buy just the spare. Or even if that radio takes a lightning hit or something and you want to replace just the radio, you can do that as well without having to realign the antenna. So a couple of nice features there. You can see on the right some additional benefits. The product comes with that GigE Ethernet interface as well as the SFP modules Keith was just referencing. Got some nice LEDs for alignment and status. And so overall, the feedback's been very positive on the installation from our installers in the beta program. So let's go to, I'm going to show you here a video, and you can also see this on YouTube at the link down there at the bottom if you just search ePMP Force 400.
Bruce, I may have been wrong about this. The video is showing up a little choppy. But I think we get the message across on the simplicity of the installation. I think GoToWebinar didn't quite like
Yeah,
big file
yeah,
size of this, but I think you got the
yeah.
point across.
Depending on your yeah. So if you go to YouTube and just search ePMP Force 400, you can see that video in its entirety. It's only, like you saw, it's about a minute and a half, and it gives you a kind of a step-by-step view of how that installation works. And we will work on our AV technology for the next one. Oh, now it's control. Oh, there you go. So one of the
Some
things
of
I
the
want to touch on as well. Oh, yeah, go ahead.
sorry, Bruce, I just wanted to mention that if there's some questions coming up, and I just wanted to say that in the handouts on the GoToWebinar, the data sheet has been attached. If you pop that open, you're going to get a lot of the answers of questions like power and things like that right off the data sheet.
Okay, great.
Thanks,
So
Bruce. Go ahead.
So the question I get sometimes is, how does this compare with some of the other products in the portfolio? You'll see that as far as a point-to-point link within the ePMP portfolio, you'll see traditionally or previously we've had the Force 325. That still is a great solution. The Force 319R, also a great solution. It's IP67, has a 19 dBi panel, so it's got a nice form factor for some enterprise customers. You'll see where the Force 425 fits in. And then to the right, you'll see the PTP550, which is our carrier aggregation model, does up to 1.4 gigabits per second. And this kind of gives you a kind of a single page sort of summary of what to expect. And the channel sizes, the up to 80 megahertz channels in all cases. If you want to go down to that 10 meg channel, you have a special application. You can get that with the 19R, which is also helpful at the 4.9 gigahertz spectrum. The IP67 on the three here on the right, and then 425 and 550 have the SFP module. I am showing pricing on here. This is list pricing, and this is your pricing depending on what region you're in will vary. So take this with a grain of salt and contact your channel partner for pricing because of the different. I said I wasn't going to talk politics today, but because of the different tariffs around the world, your pricing may vary depending on what region you're in. So check with your channel partner on what price you might expect. But this does give you a directional sense of how each of these fit together from a price standpoint. So Saki, we have included in here a number of results from different field trials around the world. Do you want to kind of briefly go through what we're seeing or hearing from the beta customers?
Yes, I certainly can. We have a lot of results here, so I'm going to go through a little bit quickly. This is, and Bruce, I'm going to count on you to just flip through the slides, but
Sure.
this is a field test in India. So obviously we have international locations, 2 kilometer distance. What you see in the colorful chart, if you gaze towards the bottom of the chart, you'll see 80 megahertz UDP and TCP results, aggregate throughput of 812 meg at 2 kilometers, 400 down, 400 up. You see installation pictures, no biggie there. All these tests are done with MikroTik routers, so we're not just using the internal link test, but generating traffic. So it's either real UDP or real TCP traffic. What you see on the distribution is that even at 2 kilometer, there's 97, 99% of the packets are going on the highest modulation, which is MCS 11. Next slide. Moving quickly through this, this is in Ukraine, Kiev, where one of our significant development centers, 4.65 kilometer link, rooftop, not a lot of noise, pretty clear line of sight. And in this link, next slide, Bruce, we are seeing in the left-hand side bottom circle says 890 meg of TCP traffic. So, we're pushing close to the gig. So certainly you can see certain cases where you'll hit that gig. But long story short, in just about every deployment, we're pushing some really, really high throughput. Little number on latency and 20 megahertz without any load. You're seeing about 2.9 and just under 3 millisecond latency. But in the pinkish table, we're pushing 110% of the traffic, and even then the latency is staying pretty low. And once again, the lots of traffic on 1024 QAM modulation. Next slide. And the next one is in Italy, one of our great customers who's done a lot of tests for us. This is where you're seeing, somebody just asked me a question about 20 meg throughput, but here it is, 190 megabits per second on a 20 meg channel at 4.17 kilometer. This is with the 25 dBi dish. So this, in my mind, was outstanding. As much as we all get excited about 80 megahertz peak throughput, I want to see big performance in lower channels because that's more practical. So this is the situation in Italy. And with that, we'll move to the next slide. And Australia, this one is a good one too because this is a congested 40 megahertz channel. I wish we had the spectrum analyzer output, but our customer did report from Australia. This was a busy link, as you can see, on a rooftop with other equipment. But 400 meg on a 250 meg throughput with MikroTik is also something we're quite happy and proud of. Moving ahead, let's see if we've got some interesting scenarios closer to home. Canada, again, a great loyal customer of ours that participated in the beta. Here, 375 meg on the 40 meg channel, as I answered somebody just a few minutes ago. Once again, MikroTik router is pushing the traffic. Distance in this case is 14 kilometers. So at 14 kilometers, granted, this is a connectorized product, and I want to say this was a 27, maybe a 30 dBi dish. I can't remember. But at 14 kilometers, pulling 375 meg on a 5 gig point-to-point is nothing to sneeze at. And I hope the end game of all this is we are giving you a product that allows you to leverage 5 gig once again. And leverage it to get the high bandwidths that you need because it's cost effective, it's easy, it's free spectrum. So that's kind of the message here. So moving on from Canada.
Yeah, I think one of the things that's interesting about that one is you can see how you know the adaptive modulation is working across 1024 QAM, and it'll you know, it'll fade back to 256 QAM for part of the time, but you know, this might not be the perfect example of that, but you'll see even if you're between these modulations, if part of the time you can get up into 1024 QAM, you'll get that that great performance, and at this range, that's pretty cool.
Right. And a few quick ones. This is in Croatia. Again, they're doing lots of tests. You've got 20 meg, 40 meg, and a 80 meg with 600 megabits per second at link distance of 4 kilometers. Not the cleanest channel, but once again, as I mentioned earlier, even the lower modulations are pushing more consistently. Next slide.
I think we can have a shout out to our friends from Croatia.
Yeah, we gave a shout out in the beginning with their the quote from ProPing Telecom, as well as our good friends at Josh Lithman at Imagine, as well as a big thank you for a lot of the folks that participated in the beta and gathered these results and helps us make the product better and take the time and effort to put up these dishes. So we really do appreciate that. Next slide, Bruce.
And speaking of the beta on the previous slide, I don't know if anyone noticed, but even it was the beta software, the session uptime is 5 days. And we've been pushing like every week, giving the new firmware to the guys, and it was pretty
not
stable.
To break anything, so, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, stability is a good point, right? We did get some good feedback on that front too, that overall links are quite stable. You know, the gist of it is that the reason we did so many betas is we wanted to get a pretty rock solid product out the door. And sure, there's going to be bugs in the future. I'm sure we'll break a few things here and there, but you know, our goal in life is at Cambium is to be responsive to you. So if you tell us there's an issue, we'll try our darnest to fix it quickly and get it out there. But all in all, we've the team has done a pretty good job in keeping things you know, fixed and stable. So the links have been running for a while. Let's move ahead really quick, and I'm sure there's questions lighting up, so we'll go past Croatia and good old US of A. This one's running for 8 days, just about 2 mile link. This is a link test, about 750 meg at this is interesting because this is probably something interesting happening here because I see it's a 40 meg channel. So the monitor wireless and the actual throughput results being run might be different. Oh no, never mind. It's downlink and uplink. I stand corrected. Okay, and while we're on the USA topic, I just want to highlight that the team is working towards making sure that the STA channel, the special temporary authority that opens up that 50 megahertz above 5.9. We're going to have a build in the official release in a relatively near term, which will give you a nice option for a clean channel. And while we're on this topic, a couple of questions popped up that I will go ahead and answer regarding DFS. We are working on DFS. You asked if there's any reported issues. It's not about issues. We actually don't have DFS channels enabled in North America just yet. We're going through the lab testing and whatnot, and we'll open up DFS channels in the very near future. And I believe there's one last trial, Bruce, that we can touch on. Poll time.
Yeah, poll number 2. These always pop in, surprise me. I put them in and then I forget where I put them. Riley, can you pop up the second poll? And last, I should say. So this is your last chance to vote. So you can see here's what we're kind of interested in, and what from what you've seen so far, where would you see the primary application? Maybe could have made this a multiple guess kind of question, because you could put more than one answer, but this just gives you a sense of what you think is the most important application in your mind. So thanks for voting, and we'll pop up the results here in a moment. Give you another few seconds to think about it. I need the Jeopardy theme song here to motivate people to think hard.
You can just hum that tune, Bruce.
Nobody wants to hear that. All right, Riley, can you go ahead and I think we got it. You can go pop that up. So yeah, it's about about half people are saying just good old backhaul, making sure that you're pushing this extra capacity out to those towers in remote areas, and really pushing the capacity, the ever ongoing thirst for more capacity. This is really going to help with that. And then we're seeing a lot of push for hundreds of megabits per second, so you can get to those higher tier business services, really compete with those fiber providers. So that's great with the high-speed point-to-point links, as well as those extensions. I see a few people voted for the fiber extension on last mile links. And then this is a great backhaul solution for our CN Pilot outdoor access points, so keep that in mind. I see a few people voted for that one. And then finally, private campus or building to building connectivity. So I know that kind of makes sense. That's about 10%, but I do think it's a great solution for that. If you're looking to connect a building to building and put hundreds of megabits per second, maybe you don't have pure line of sight between those buildings. You could put this product up, and you'll get some good capacity from building to building, especially on those shorter links. So again, you can pop that one back down, Riley. Thanks everybody for chiming in on that. I think we'll post that results of those polls up on the community, so if you want to come back and look at them, or get other people to vote as well. So that pretty much starts to bring us to the end of the content for this webinar. The product itself is a point-to-point link, and you can find a lot more information about the product in our user guide that's posted up on the support website. As I mentioned, if you've already been familiar with ePMP, this will be very straightforward to deploy. But if you are new to Cambium or new to ePMP, there's a full set of user documentation and options there to learn more about it. Recommend going to the community. There's already a healthy debate going on, and questions about how people are deploying the product and what's the best way to get the performance out of it. So you go over to the community.cambiumnetworks.com for that. More information on the website. We put the handout here. You can pull down the data sheet right here while you're at the webinar, or later on you can always get it at the website. Your channel partner is always a great resource. They can let you know more about that pricing and more about availability. Link Planner is coming in the February release. So I think we're still on track for around the end of this month. It'll show up in Link Planner, and you can start to do those what if scenarios that you that Link Planner is so great at, which is you can do things like, what if I put a bigger dish on here? What if I put a smaller dish? What if I raise the elevation? Range topology or topography, all those things that come into play when you're planning a point-to-point link. This product is really right in the sweet spot of what Link Planner can do. So looking forward to that being released later this month. As far as product availability, there are a number of questions about that in the chat. We are shipping this product today. It is arriving in our channel partners over the next, so I would say the next 4 to 6 weeks. It will be arriving into the channel partners. So really start looking and asking your channel partner about availability starting around mid-March. We have a lot of interesting demand for this product coming from all parts of the world, and we are rapidly filling those orders. And so again, look for this to arrive in your neighborhood in mid-March. So I think I'm going to pop this last slide up. It's just kind of a quick summary, but let's take the last few minutes here and answer any other questions that have popped up. One thing I will mention on this is that we touched on the fact that this is 802.11ax technology, and meaning it's the fourth, and we talked about how it's the fourth generation of ePMP. When we go back in time, you had the ePMP 1000 series, which was 11N. We added the 2000 series, which was added the smart antennas and some of the digital or hardware filtering. And then Gen 3, we added MU-MIMO with the ePMP 3000 and the Force 300 series. We added AC Wave 2 and some of the higher modulations and higher channel sizes. And now with 11AX, we're adding the broader, the higher modulations and still 80 megahertz channel and some of the more efficient improvements in the air interface. One of the questions we get all the time is, well, where's the access point? We are actively working on it. Dimitri and Joe are on the call here, and we're keeping them from their work, which is to keep pushing on the next generation of ePMP. So be confident that that is coming. The nice thing about the next generation access points is that it will be backwards compatible with these Force 300 subscriber modules that you're putting out in the field today, and you'll be able to leverage the SMs that you've deployed, and it will carry on with all of the lessons that we're learning and experiences that are being gained with the AX product that we're launching here with the 425. So more to come on that, but certainly you know, that access point, we're looking at sort of a 2022 type of, early 2022 type of availability on that access point for the next generation. But suffice it to say that Cambium is all over that and working towards that that solution as well. Any questions that we need to draw out here, Sakeen?
No, I think we're good. Let me see. Are there any lower gain models coming? Yes, there will be, but they'll be part of the subscriber module.
So, Seki, do you want to touch the topic regarding the subscriber module difference from this PDP that we have?
I did.
Now?
I think I responded earlier about that. That this is a purpose-built sort of a point-to-point product. There will be additional devices coming out that will be serving as a subscriber module against the 4000 AX AP. This may become a subscriber module eventually, but at this price point, we don't think the purpose of this is a fitting for a subscriber module. So yeah, 16 dBi and definitely on the roadmap. So you'll see some of that. And there was also a question about will it support 7525? This is a bit of a controversial topic because some folks said, hey, we need a point-to-point product with GPS sync. And we did evaluate that decision for a while. And some people highlighted the fact that they saw a connector on the early pictures on the website. or our community. We did not add a GPS to this. So even if you have 75-25, you're not going to be able to sync it. And that's just a scenario. And partly because as we look at the low cost point-to-point market globally, you just don't have control over your uplink downlink data. And by losing that 25% or 50% of time where there's no traffic, you're sacrificing how much traffic you can get out of the other side. So that was part of the decision-making process. Having said that, it's not that we're never going to do a GPS sync. Stay tuned. We'll keep an eye on the requirement. We'll keep how the market reacts to this and reevaluate that. But right now, that was kind of the thinking on why we did not do GPS sync, and therefore a 75-25 ratio isn't really going to give you more throughput. What you have today is absolutely the maximum throughput you're going to squeeze out of this system. That kind of covers a few different questions that showed up at the tail end of this. All right, I think, Bruce, we're wrapping up then. I think question-wise, we're good. You got your polling results, and
yeah, I appreciate everybody asking all those questions. Made for a good interactive discussion, and I hope you, if you, again, as I mentioned, if you have questions that we didn't get to, post them on the community, and we'll reach out to you that way. Thanks again for joining, and again, Riley will be wrapping this up and posting it up on the community as well if you want to take a look at the recording of the webinar. So thanks again, everybody, and have a good rest of your day.
Thanks, everyone. Like Bruce said, I will be posting and sending out this webinar recording to all attendees, so be on the lookout for that. But thanks again for joining, and I hope everyone has a fantastic day.